Hello and good morning, everyone, to another episode of Clearly Ambiguous. Now it's about 4:40 a.m. in the morning here where I'm at, and the reason I've been doing an all-nighter is to see what Donald Trump ended up saying at the World Economic Forum, and to see if there are responses because he said a lot, right? Most of it didn't make sense because obviously most of it was basically me again. And then it was belittling somebody or the other, whether it was Greenland, Denmark, the entire continent of Europe, right? And probably even going to say that if America wasn't there, we would probably all be speaking, Europeans would either be speaking German or Japanese. So basically, according to him, nobody basically ended up doing anything in the Second World War. It was all United States of America. And I think even though, yes, United States of America, with its huge military might have turned the tide of war against the Germans, the Nazis, it still wouldn't be, civil to belittle people you've been calling allies since the end of the Second World War, right? And now you're going up against your own NATO allies, and you need Greenland for your national strategic security. He basically ended up saying that Greenland is part of North America, hence it should be part of United States, because everything essentially which is part of North America should be part of United States, because that's what he said about Canada as well. Probably he'd include China, Japan, probably even India in North America one day and say, you know what, it should all be United States of America. Now, I really am sorry about a bit of cold that I have. I have made myself, there a huge mug of cocoa. This is my third mug of cocoa. Because, you need a lot of nutrition to survive one of these rants that President Trump goes on. And he goes on and on. The sheer, I don't know, like, yes, of course, all the world leaders probably either are too sophisticated or are scared about the fact that this person might unleash something even more horrible than what he has already unleashed on them, and it will basically bottom out their economy, so on and so forth. So you don't see a lot of reactions right now, except for a few debates and discussions on the media, which essentially is not in his favor. And we all know what he's going to say about those media channels. He's essentially going to call them that you're fake news, you're fake news, you're fake news. But he ended up making some tall claims about the American economy as well. He said a lot of things, did not mention numbers. He essentially says that, I have stopped giving food stamps to people because they don't need it. That is something that he is doing in his own country, and yes, he is free to do whatever he does in his own country. But he should understand that everybody else is free to do whatever they do in their own countries as well. Because now he is talking that, you either run your country and do whatever you do in your country and support the United States of America in the way that he wants you to support them, or you basically will be imposed, and your economy or your everything will be demolished by sanctions, tariffs, so on and so forth, or he will just come and occupy you. He did not sound like a president of a country. He basically sounded like an imperialistic, expansionist tyrant, so to speak, right? And I'm using that word with all due respect because it is frightening, right? He is trying to, yes, destroy the global world order, the alliances, so on and so forth, which were built to do certain things, and they've had a lot of success and failures as well. But that does not mean that you basically just destroy everything and say that, okay, this is it. He belittles. See, even with that entire thing about, I've spoken about this in another video, but I'll upload those videos later. I was like, let's get a response to his speech at Davos today. The world leaders, some of them have been pretty brutal. Somebody basically just flipped him off as well. So, yeah. And he claims, like, I think Donald Trump now, he is going to get the Nobel Peace Prize. You know what he's going to, I think what he's going to do right now, and just humor me here, what he's going to do is he's going to go out for Greenland because he's Greenland has to be given to him. That's what he's saying. You give it to me or I'll take it from you. That's what he's saying, because eventually security of the United States of America is more paramount than anybody else's security or sovereignty for that matter. And yes, America sees that, it needs Greenland. So, okay. And he did mention that he does not need it for its rare earth minerals, because the rare earths to get out of Greenland will be very difficult because it's all just a block of ice. And I think he was mentioning Iceland there, because Iceland's something completely different from Greenland. So he's probably gotten his maps a little confused. But then again, it's President Trump, so he can. But okay, so let's come back to the fact that how he would get his Nobel Peace Prize now. So think about it this way. So once he's got Greenland, now he expands into Europe, right? So then probably one fine day he just captures Norway. And now, because he would be the acting president of Norway, he could basically give himself the Nobel Peace Prize just out there. Because, see, this is how probably, his mind works. Probably one fine day, I'm just glad that probably civilian orders are not on his target list, because that's what he'd say one day. And yes, he did mention the stopping of eight and a half wars again. And we all know what we're going to say, right? He says that and there is a big silence from our side. Because we've just realized that it does not make sense. Neither to humor him, right? So he, when he was asked by a reporter, he said, yes, Prime Minister Modi is a good friend. He really appreciates. And then he ends up, so he's like, he keeps playing that game again and again and again. But yeah, we all know what games he's playing. So what essentially he's telling Europe right now is that you're between a rock and a hard place. Either the Russians are going to come for you, or I'm anyways coming for you anyways. Right? So that's it. And Europeans have just realized that while they were thinking since the Second World War that, United States is there for security. And yes, Europeans have been lazy. They have been extremely lazy, right, in basically cutting down on defense expenditure and basically becoming these welfare states where the government spends a lot of money on its citizens without producing enough, and they just become consumers of everything. So yes, Europe is to blame for it as well, but come on. You can probably encourage Europeans to, like when he said, spend 5%, right, increase your defense expenditure. Right? And now he says, fine, I don't care if you increase your defense expenditure or not. The United States is the best military there is, and and I think I think somewhere he's gotten irked about it a little, that probably Americans aren't respected as much, when it comes to being a military power. He should also realize that, somebody might not end up fighting you because you're a big bad bully, but nothing's stopping them from not respecting you, right? So, yes, you might keep saying you've got the greatest and the best weapons in the world, and somebody ends up just going there and says, nah, I don't believe you. What are you going to do? You're going to go after them? Fine, you come. I remember a joke long time back by Russell Peters, right? And he had mentioned at that point of time that, when the United States went into Iraq and they were basically going against it, I was like, yeah, you're going to kill me? No, I kill me. So that's what it is. And he keeps saying that they have these new weapons and they've got the best weapons. Yes, fine, okay, you got the best weapons. Yes, we believe you. But, that's why they're called defensive weapons, because you just for your own security. And now that you got those weapons, even if nobody is provoking you, you will just basically create conditions conducive enough for you to start conflict so that you can use these weapons, so that you can yourself buy more weapons by using somebody else's oil or somebody else's money, so that your own defense industrial complex keeps working. And that's what it is. He needs your oil, which he can sell and keep that money in his account to make you prosperous. Think about it. This is what it is. So, United States of America right now is going to get Venezuelan oil, sell it at market price. That money would be kept in Qatar, right? And Venezuela will become rich. And mind you, this money that is being kept in Qatar is not in Venezuelan offshore accounts. It is in American offshore accounts and probably even President Trump's account. So think about it. Wow. He went on, he's got few people. I don't know what President Macron, the French president, has said to him. He talks about him. This is about President Trump. And then he went on and he said something again that me again. And yes, President Biden was back. Yes, fine, it's okay. But even if you hate somebody, politics, you always hate somebody who opposes you. But at least there is that sophistication which President Trump has single-handedly destroyed. And this will inspire a whole new generation, or has already inspired a whole new generation of leaders who would take the political conversation, to childish banter, basically. This is school playground stuff. That's what it is. See, I understand that. Fine, all the world is a playground, this, that, and the other. And while the world has been, we all knew that world hasn't changed much. Yes, the powerful nations take away, they're still imperialistic and everything. But at least we could live in a little bit of peace where, at least nobody spoke about it. Certain points of time, we just didn't do a few things, right? So, and what about that war in Ukraine? He's gone to Europe, right? So, what about that war in Ukraine? Maybe in his mind, he's already stopped it, right? And now I think President Trump does not want Nobel as well. I think the reason he's been going after the Pope is I think he needs to be called a saint. Yeah, he needs to be canonized now. That's what he wants now. Yeah, so probably that's, I try to make notes, right? I try to make notes. I'm trying to make sense, okay? Yeah, so one thing about Americans and English language is, I don't know whether they've got a grasp of it. There's a great comedian by the name of Michael McIntyre, and he tells that Americans have to oversimplify English language for themselves, right? One of the most favorite words the Americans have given us is skyrocket. What is a rocket? Is something that goes towards the sky. But no, wait. See, even if it basically is any form of rocket which goes, even a cruise missile, right? It is a rocket in some sense or the other, whatever. Let's not go into the nitty-gritties of it. But yes, it launches and probably cruises along or skims along or something which goes. But Americans have to call it skyrocket because it's a rocket. What does it do? It goes towards the sky. Wow. That's why they call it horseback riding, right? Yeah, because how else would you be riding a horse, right? So they don't call it footpath, they call it sidewalk, because if they did not mention you have to walk on that side of the road, probably you would walk in the middle of the road. Probably that's going to happen. Anyways, forget all that. Governments are foolish, right? He was basically cheating Europe. That's what he was doing. He was, so yes, there again, yes, another line of me, claims, no data. Abuse Joe Biden, yes. And yes, Trump supporters, people who support Trump, said it was a historic speech. Of course, it is a historic speech because this is the first time a world leader has gone on stage and basically done a stand-up act. That's what they've done. Because I don't know why those world leaders were not amused or laughing in his face, because they're probably just being too nice, right? I was at least hoping that few of them would start laughing at him in disbelief. It's like, what are you talking about? Uh, Another thing, yes. So he's gone ahead, insulted the people of Greenland who've had a very, remarkable history, basically. Yeah, but then again, it does not matter. He can call you anything. He can call you anything. He's a supremacist. Let's agree to the fact. And imperialist, anyways. And yes, the right address to President Trump now would be All Hail King Donald. Yes. So that is what and how he would be addressed, right? So that's a winner of the Nobel Peace Prize for peace, physics, economy, literature, everything. It reminds me of a movie by Sacha Baron Cohen, right? I never thought that could happen in real life. But yes, sometimes reality is stranger than fiction. Anyway, so yeah, so it was very amusing. You should listen to the speech, whether, in disbelief or whether as a warning to where the world might be heading, or whether to guess who would be next after Greenland. Because yes, okay, Venezuela's done. Yeah, fine. Greenland, as good as done. Who's next, right? I think he's probably not going to go after Iran, because that is something that the Americans are scared of a little damage. They don't want those. They don't have stomach for those many body bags anymore. So probably they will not do it. Or probably they will. Who knows? They already sent their aircraft carriers there. So yeah, they're traveling. One of those carriers was going to reach in 5 days. I think this is the 4th day. So by tomorrow, you will have an aircraft carrier with its other, thugs, so to speak. So yeah. So I think President Trump comes from New York, and he is really, really inspired by the erstwhile mob in New York. So probably he's been inspired. But anyways, this is what it is. Right, please remember, the right form of address from now on will be All Hail King Donald, at least for the people in Greenland. I do mean this sarcastically and with a bit of irony. Anyways, so thanks for watching. Keep watching. Until next time, you take care of yourself and watch out.